Okay, so you're stuck in quarantine and you can't ride your bike. So what are you going to do now? The obvious answer would be lie in bed and do nothing, but if you haven't come to that conclusion, you might have thought about riding on an indoor training platform, and if you come to this video, you've probably thought about Zwift. So in this video, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on how to become a better rider in Zwift, level up faster, and just gain experience on the platform. If you're new here, I do all sorts of training videos and cycling analysis, so if that does sound up your alley, please hit the subscribe button, and whilst you're there, also hit the notification bell so you get notification every single time that I upload a video. So my first tip on the platform is just throw yourself in. Zwift can seem like quite a daunting big place with a massive world near the Solomon Islands in Watopia, where there's hills, there are flat routes, and there's also another course every single day of the week which you can ride. So there are different things, and you always be able to find something which is good for you. So there are workouts, group rides, races, or just free riding yourself. Personally, I like doing all of these 4 things, but I'm sure there'll be something for you. Okay, so my second tip is be prepared. By this I mean maybe having some sort of towel draped over your handlebars so the sweat off your hands, which can get quite sweaty, and your arms don't, ruin the aluminium or carbon of your handlebars, because that can have a bad effect and wear out the life and the look of your precious handlebars. Okay, you also want to get a fan because it can get quite hot when you're training indoors, especially at high intensity. And so that's one way of cooling down. The other way is staying hydrated by getting some water on board, which is really, really important. Now, sometimes this can seem like a lot to remember, especially for me. I always end up forgetting something. There's always so much faffing around at the start, but if you create a checklist, if you're a forgetful person, I'm sure that would really help out. Okay, so my third tip is always ride to the end of the kilometer. If you haven't joined Zwift, there are actually levels within the game, and you get 20 XP points for every kilometer you ride and 30 for every mile. But if you don't complete the kilometer, you won't get 10 points for riding half of it, you'll get none. So if you want to level up quicker, make sure you get those 20 points at the end of each kilometer. Okay, so my fourth tip is make sure that everything is sturdy. So by that I mean having your quick releases done up, all the bolts tightened around your bike. Because once I was racing and the quick release wasn't done up properly and the bike started wobbling around, and I got dropped by the whole group whilst having to fix it. Okay, so my fifth tip is knowing about the drop shop. As you ride, you will gain drops, which is kind of the in-game currency of Zwift. So there's the shop, which you can find by hitting the menu button in Zwift, and you can actually buy all sorts of items, and you might think, well, what's the point? So getting different items, it can be wheels, frame sets, clothing, they can actually make you faster in the game. Okay, on to my sixth point now is if you're using a computer or a laptop or anything other than a phone, you can have your phone on your handlebars and you can use the Zwift companion app. This is really good because you can engage in the group chat, you can use the aero, lightweight boost more easily, and even turn around or pause the ride if you want to. So my seventh tip is if you've got 2 power meters on your bike, or for me I have my pedals which I use out on the road, and then the Wahoo kicker which I use indoors. Usually I'm using the pedals just because they don't count for the power loss within the drivetrain, and I actually had to switch between the 2 of them in one ride because erg mode wasn't working as well. But anyway, so my tip is really don't switch between the rides because you'll get different power dropouts, and the radio waves, which is the way they signal, will get in the way of each other and not really work properly. Okay, so my 8th tip is choose a comfortable position. Getting aero on the indoor trainer isn't going to really make a difference because you haven't got any wind resistance. So get as comfortable as possible, position where you can put out as much power as possible. Okay, so in at number 9, the penultimate tip is going to be don't wait in a sprint if you're in a race. By the time you start sprinting, and then that's communicated to your laptop, and by the time the avatar starts moving and then someone else can see that, it's going to be too late for them to sprint and get past you. So don't wait for the others to go, do it yourself is my tip. Okay, so the final tip is turn the music up. Personally for me, when I'm training, I really find that music helps keep me motivated and helps me push a little bit harder. Thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment down below. Hopefully I'll see you on Zwift. Bye.